Hello, my friends. Happy to be back at yourvision.blog, and today I have a fantastic guest. It's Albert Quehenberger from AQ Forensics. He's a crypto forensics specialist, and today we will dive deep into the topic of security. Hello, Albert. Welcome to have you on stage, and please introduce yourself.
Hello, Georg. Thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure to being here and talking to you today. As you mentioned before, my name is Albert Quehenberger. I'm an Austrian guy, as you can hear on my pronunciation. I'm looking back on a military career. I was working for almost 2 decades for the Austrian Armed Forces, and almost 10 years I was working for the Austrian Intelligence Cell, where I was allowed to do a project to develop or research Bitcoin and the blockchain technology from a security perspective. After I finished this project, they offered me a job in the Ministry of Defense in Vienna, but at the age of 34, I felt a little bit too young to getting missed in a huge office complex in Vienna. So I decided to change the roles and switch to the private economic sector. And at this time, I was working for about 6 months as chief marketing officer for an Austrian exchange. But within these 6 months, they closed their doors. And so I changed to a developers company. It's called Kogler Software Solutions, where we did back in 2018 already AI projects for the automotive. So we did some surface detection products, or we developed them. And during that time, perpetrators have stolen 6 Bitcoins out of my wallet. And as a former soldier, Austrian soldier, I went to the colleagues in blue, to the police department here in the region, and I wanted to open a file. They looked at me with wide open eyes and told me, Albert, Bitcoins, that sounds a little bit suspicious, and money of the internet and digital gold. I think we are not able to help you. And this wasn't the statement I wanted to hear from them. So I tried to find or did some research online how I can get trained to read and interpret all the hashes, each transaction on the blockchain. This wasn't the statement I wanted to hear from my colleagues, and so I decided to do my own research online to look for some trainings of how I can read, interpret, and analyze all the transaction hashes on the blockchains. And at this stage, I landed at McAfee in the United States of America, and I decided to do this basic training to become Austria's first certified cryptocurrency forensic investigator. And since this time, I was able to investigate more than 2,500 cases of crypto crime. Not only crypto crime, but also proof of source of funds reports for cryptocurrencies or digital inheritance, and all cases where on-chain data plays a crucial role, to be more exact. Yeah, and I started this company together with my beautiful wife, Julia. And we wrote a book together with some other branch experts about on-chain analytics. I did the training to become a sworn court expert for blockchain-related crimes. And I'm also in the board of members of the DLT Austria. And yeah, we're looking forward to what the future will bring to us.
That's absolutely interesting, Albert. Really great. Now you're an expert in forensics with experience in many different cases. Can you tell us a little bit about what is your current most interesting case? Do you have something about what you're allowed to talk?
Yeah, sure. I would say almost every case is absolutely interesting and stunning, but I think the most popular one was a current case where a client of us, let's call him David, lost 2,000 Bitcoins to maybe the well-known hacking army, the cyber arm of the North Korean hacking army Lazarus. Back in 2024, he went to the East Denver as a participant, and there he met a group of cool guys. They understand each other very good, and so they decided to stay in touch after the conference. And they decided to meet each other online and they sent him a link to a Zoom meeting. Absolutely ordinary, a standard link for an online conference. We know so far nothing suspicious at this or till this stage. And he held this online meeting with these guys, and they talked about some possible projects they are able to do together, because he has also a background as a software developer in the DLD space, Web3 space, and blockchain related projects. So there was also nothing suspicious, right, during this whole conversation. But afterwards, he told me that he got a manipulated link for this Zoom meeting. So the whole meeting was guided through some fraudulent servers where the perpetrators installed a kind of spyware on his systems. And the huge problem was that his wallet and the private keys had been stored together on one device. And so at this moment, the whole system was compromised, and the attackers had time to have a look on all the files and the log files and the keys stored on this IT system from David. And so after the meeting, or since the meeting, he didn't have a look at his public key or his wallet. Which, when we jump in the time now a little bit forward, 7 months, he contacted us to do a proof of source of funds report, because he sent a couple of Bitcoins 1 year before to an exchange, and they wanted a proof of source of funds report for these Bitcoins. Always when we are doing some proof of source of funds reports, we are doing a proof of ownership to make clear that our client is really the owner of the funds and has access to the funds. And so we scheduled an appointment online. And during this meeting, I saw at his wallet that he didn't synchronize the wallet, I think, for about 7 or 8 months. And I wanted to let him sign a message, and it failed and it failed. And yeah, I told him, yeah, David, please do the synchronization of your wallet, and maybe we can solve the issue. And in the meanwhile, he should forward me the public key that I can have a look with my on-chain analytics tools inside the wallet and check the balance of the wallet, and have a look from which sources this Bitcoin have been sent to his wallet, just to get a whole picture about the transaction behavior of him. And so we did the proof of ownership for the wallet, and I wanted to let him sign a message on his Bitcoin wallet, just to make clear, to see that he's the owner of the funds and where they did come from, like an exchange or an ATM or a source like that. And I checked the balance, and I saw balance 0. And so I thought, oh shit. I hope it's really only a technical issue, because otherwise I have to tell him that he lost his Bitcoins, or to be more exact, that someone has stolen his Bitcoins. At this moment, it was not clear for me that we are talking from about 2000 Bitcoins. He just reported a couple of Bitcoins to me and told me, yeah, I want to have this proof of source of funds report only for a few Bitcoins. I said, yeah, okay, it's no problem. And at this moment, I wanted to tell him that the balance of this wallet is currently 0, but maybe it's a technical issue. And as I told him the current balance, he opened his eyes and he asked me, can this be true? Is this real? Are you sure that the balance is 0? And I said, yes, I think so. So he forwarded me 5 more wallet addresses and asked me to check the balances. And so I did. And what I found out was that the total balance of all his wallets was 0. And of course, it was absolutely shocking, because in the background his small daughter was playing, and she was dancing, turning out the lights, and she was funny. But at this moment I have had to tell her father that he lost almost his whole value of cryptocurrency, almost all of the 2000 Bitcoins. Because as I mentioned before, a couple of them he was able to transfer before to an exchange, and this exchange was waiting for a proof of source of funds report. Yeah, this was really terrifying us, and I immediately started tracing the funds. When you're transferring some Bitcoins, you always have a change address. Yeah? So it's an hierarchical deterministic algorithm, which means it's looking a peel chain, and a peel chain is a money laundering pattern. Yeah? And as the name says, you're peeling away always a small amount of a huger amount of these Bitcoin assets and laundering them. And this pattern is absolutely similar, but here was a huge difference because I saw there was the change address from this one transaction where David sent us a couple of cryptocurrencies to the exchange, and the difference was transferred to the wallet. But after this, there shouldn't be any further transactions. But there have been several transactions, which was the proof that some unknown perpetrators infiltrated his wallet, stolen his Bitcoin out of the wallet and transferred them away. Because in the next transactions we had some mixing services, and then at this point we indeed had this money laundering patterns, sending the Bitcoins away in several, I would say 100 transactions, sending them to some DeFi platforms, swapping them from Bitcoin to Litecoin, to ETH, wrapped ETH, back to wrapped Bitcoin. And then there was the evidence which led us to the statement that Lazarus was involved in the whole case, because there was one wallet labeled as Lazarus, which means in the former times this wallet was directly involved in a heist of Lazarus, the North Korean cyber army. And so at this point we knew, okay, we can't handle this case by our own, and we need the help of the law enforcement agencies. And this happened all in this one initial meeting where we only wanted to sign one message on his wallet to bring this proof of ownership of the Bitcoins. And we started filing a complaint as the Federal Bureau of the Investigations. We got the response within a couple of days, so they acted really quick. And since this point, this is not only a private investigation, this is an international investigation, because we also opened the case with the Hong Kong law enforcement agencies, the Thai law enforcement agencies, with Interpol, because all of these law enforcement agencies had an interest in solving this case or operating in this case. So it's quite huge now, and we have been able to identify a couple of wallets which are currently holding 1,650 Bitcoins of David. So what we did immediately after filing this complaint as the FBI and the other law enforcement agencies was sending them some on-chain messages to the wallets. Because when you're doing a transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain, you are able to send, I think, 80 bytes, which means 80 small letters, to the wallet who received the funds. And we offered them a bug bounty and told them, if you are responding to our message within 7 days, we are closing these reports with the law enforcement agencies. You can hold 5% or 10% of the whole amount of Bitcoins, but transfer the difference back to David's wallet. But unfortunately, we didn't receive any answers so far. We have to do further investigations, watch these wallet addresses, and act really quick when the perpetrators starting moving the funds away out of these wallets.
Okay, so you're working together with FBI and other criminal polices of different states, countries. I think this is very interesting, and you're working globally, because if you make any digital money transactions, it's always international and not only national.
True.
From your entire career, is there anything funny you can tell us with the law enforcement?
That's a different question, because in most of the cases, the circumstances are not very funny when people are getting in touch with us. So the work is very serious. But I think there was one investigation that was also very interesting, because a criminal has stolen 50 Bitcoin from his business partner, and he really had a technician background. So he did a lot of complex money laundering behavior to really hide the source of the source of the funds of these bitcoins he has stolen from his business partner. And he used several exchanges, non-KYC exchanges, swapped the digital assets into several other assets and transferred them to different wallet addresses. And so he spread the funds. And I think it was the last transaction hash I had to check in this whole investigation. And I thought, wow, that's a really different case. We have only non-KYC swapped the original funds into several other cryptocurrencies. But within this last transaction, I was not able to trace them with my really expensive and really great on-chain analytics tool. So I had to use a standard blockchain explorer for this cryptocurrency. And I put this transaction hash into the bar, pressed enter, and I couldn't believe what I saw there, because the result was there was one recipient, a wallet address, together with a profile picture of the recipient, which means when he opened this wallet a couple of years before, he forgot that he attached a profile pic to this wallet address and sent the stolen, laundered, and swapped funds directly into his wallet address. And due to the circumstances that at this point we had a profile pic, our client was able to identify him as his former business partner. And now we had the missing link, the proof that his former business partner has stolen his cryptocurrencies.
Wow.
That was funny from my point of view, because I thought, wow, it was so complex to solve the whole case, and it was an international investigation going on. And then he forgot that he attached a profile picture of himself with his wallet address. So,
yes, that's always a good help to investigate it. Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks a lot for sharing your insights, Albert. That's really fantastic. That's great. You're working on a lot of cases. You're working together with the FBI, who also helps here a lot, and also with the Austrian law enforcement. If somebody is coming to you and asking for help, what's the percentage that you can bring back the money?
When you mean the percentage of cases where we are able to bring back some funds, this is a very interesting one, because to be honest, we always need at a specific point in the investigation the help of the law enforcement agencies. And as you can imagine, they are currently overflooded with some cases where cryptocurrencies have been used by criminals to betray people, innocent people, maybe in some romance scams or investment scams or phishing attacks or stuff like that. And to be honest, we are able to help, I would say, 40% of all the people who are getting in touch with us. That maybe sounds not really like we are very successful, but in total, if you have a look on the global cases, and just to drop one number, Binance mentioned that they are working annually on more than 68,000 cases of crypto crime globally. So it gives us a little bit of insights of the whole spectrum of how huge these cases are, or this pain is globally. And so from this point of view, 40% is a very good amount of cases where we are really able to recover some funds, but always hand in hand with the law enforcement agencies. So we can prepare everything before you're heading to the law enforcement agencies, reporting or opening a file, and exchanges are collaborating with us. And when we are sending them some suspicious transaction activity reports, they are taking it serious, which means when we report some special accounts to them who receive proven stolen funds, they are freezing these accounts and they are doing some internally investigations by their own. And this gives us the time to get in touch with the law enforcement agents and tell them, hey, please get in touch with this or this platform. They are already started internally investigations. And so if there are some funds and if we acted quick enough, they have frozen the funds on this platform. But they always need the confirmation from the officials that really a case was opened and really funds have been stolen and sent directly to this platform. So we are preparing everything for them.
So if somebody sees something suspicious in their own wallet, what do you recommend the people to do?
So if something sounds too good to be true, be cautious, because in most of the times criminals are playing with our emotions. Greed is a huge and a powerful emotion, and if someone is promising you a return on your investment from 1 to 3% a day, this is in most of the cases a huge scam. So always listen a little bit to your gut feeling. In most of the cases, your gut feeling gives you the right answer. But if you are not sure and if you want to let this transaction check by a pro, you can also visit the site of Watchlist Internet, which always shares the most common crypto scams or scams in total on their website. If this is not the right answer, or if you are not finding the answers you expected on this homepage, you can get in touch with us. We are always doing or happy to help you and do a free consultation, which means we are checking your transactions and have a look what happened with your funds. This is also a good source, and asking some real well-known experts like you, Georg, for example, because you are also a part of the DLT Austria or the blockchain Vienna community, where are several experts, and in most of the cases they can say you after the first 2 or 3 sentences this is a scam, or go to the police and open a report and let's try to start the investigation from our official side.
So the link to Albert, to DLT Austria, and also for the Center for Risk and Crisis Management you will find below in the comments. But let's go to the beginning. What can people do to be on the safe side that there will no scam happen?
Educate yourself, really. Read a lot about scams. Read articles from Blockside or BTC Echo. These are huge German magazines which are reporting about the latest scams, the biggest haste. And this builds awareness about all these scam types are out there in this crypto space. Crypto gives you self-sovereignty about your financials. But with this self-sovereignty, a lot of responsibility comes to all the individuals who are acting with cryptocurrencies, because there is no entity who is checking if you typed the correct wallet address into the bar, or there is no entity who is able to help you bringing some transactions back. In most of the cases, if you're losing cryptocurrencies, it is a hard way and very much time to bring the funds back. Because if cryptocurrencies are involved in some investigations, it's almost in all cases an international investigation. You have several jurisdictions. For example, we are sitting here in Austria. Let's say someone has stolen my bitcoins and sent it directly to an exchange on the Seychelles, from the Seychelles to the United States, from the United States to the United Arab Emirates, for example. So that means you have to talk with the officials there and ask them for their help. And this is very time consuming. We heard it a little bit earlier. Binance alone is handling 68,000 cases of crypto crimes annually. If we count them all together, all the platforms globally, I think you get a good imagination of how many cases there are really happening and on how many cases law enforcement agencies globally are investigating.
That's a huge amount of fraud, really huge. So it looks like crypto is a little bit the Wild West. I think this was not the idea of Satoshi Nakamoto. It should be anonymous, but it should not be Wild West. So if you listen to it, the contacts of Albert are below. You will find them, and if there is any problem, please contact him. There is a lot of big butchering, a lot of fraud, a lot of scam. Where do you see the future of crypto?
I don't think that we are living in the Wild West. The regulation is becoming better and better, but the not knowledge on several stakeholders is a huge problem, and from time to time, the different jurisdictions. I don't think that it is Wild West, because we have MiCA since this year. There is a DAC8 coming, and a lot is happening on the regulatory part or inside. We have a lot of regulations globally, but we have these several jurisdictions, and we have from time to time a lack of knowledge and which measurements should be set immediately when it comes to theft of some cryptocurrencies. So we need, from my point of view, a kind of ready reaction force, which is allowed to freeze some funds on some exchanges. There is the Financial Action Task Force, which is working properly on some guidelines and the collaboration between the public and the private sector to solve this huge global problem.
So we are here in Europe. We have a lot of regulations. Some people say too much, but it is good that it is regulated. It helps the people. You can be safe, but others, they don't work in regulated areas like Lazarus. But crypto is here to stay. It is not a good idea to run away or to avoid it. More and more enterprises are going to use it. Also, Amazon, they are planning to make their own stablecoin. You are the one to help if there is it going to a scam, to any problem. What is your vision, Albert?
I totally agree. Crypto or the blockchain technology is here to stay. It was underestimated by officials for almost decades. We know the first block was mined at the beginning of 2009, and everybody told me in 2012, when I brought this technology into the military sector, Albert, forget it, this is something for some computer nerds. Yeah, it never will reach a global status like you predicting that. But my vision is that within the next couple of years, that almost everybody globally heard from cryptocurrencies and has access to the financial sector, and that AQ Forensics is responsible for a safer environment and cryptocurrency ecosystem. This is my vision. And to swipe out all the fraudulent actors in this space.
Do you think it will be parallel to fiat currency, or do you think crypto will kill the fiat currency?
Crypto is like money on steroids, but banks are too powerful, so I don't think that they will let it happen that crypto will wipe out fiat money. So from this point of view, I think they will live parallel to each other. Let's have a look on Ripple. Ripple is used as a bridge technology for some internally bank transfers globally.
Yes.
They are faster, they are secure or more secure than everything we have seen so far.
Like HSBC,
Cheaper.
they already used Ripple, I think 2019 for internal transfers. So they are far ahead. Now HSBC announced with Raiffeisenbank and 9 banks together, they made their own stable coin. It's a real great technology and you should use the advantages of it.
Absolutely. And if you have a look on Bitcoin, is becoming more and more a store of value. The digital gold. Nobody believed in it before.
Yes. But now it is here.
And it will stay.
How is it to work in this secure area? To be the sheriff? You opened something like a sheriff's office and the people are coming to ask you, hey, Albert, what should I do here? What should I do there? How is it for you to open all day long with good people and also with suspicious people, hunting for stolen money?
It's quite interesting because on the one side we are educating people who never wanted to invest in cryptocurrencies and brought from fraudulent players into this field. They are learning a lot in a very short amount or period of time about cryptocurrencies, and it's a huge feeling when we are successful and we are able to bring some stolen funds back. That makes me really proud.
You can be really proud of it. That's really great. Thanks a lot for your insights, Albert. That's fantastic. Albert, before I want to make a crypto transfer to a new wallet address, is there a possibility to check if this wallet was already involved in a fraud?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question for the audience because indeed there are several tools like Blockchain Explorer or eScan where you can check wallet addresses on their transaction behavior and, for example, if they are labeled, because when they have been involved in some suspicious behavior, then you can see there are some marks. Most of the time they are highlighted in red or yellow, a very significant color. And within this text field, there is written, be cautious if you want to interact with this wallet address because it's connected to some phishing, smart contracts, wallet drainer, or cases like that. If you're not so familiar with blockchain explorers or scanners for the different blockchains, we have done or closed a partnership with VerifiWallet, which is a US-based company led by Mudasa Malik. He's a special agent from the United States Secret Service. And we are providing this tool for free over our homepage. You can put in a wallet address into the search bar, confirm, and then you get immediately a feedback about this wallet address. If there are some notifications to their wallet, this means the wallet are also part of some ongoing investigations. And in most of the cases, you also get additional information, which can be the name of the fraud they are involved, or is it an investment scam, a Ponzi scheme, or a pig butchering scam, which we also know as a love scam, or some impersonating scams, for example, because they are very famous here in the European region.
Okay, that's very important. Thanks a lot. You will find the link to VerifiWallet below in the comments to make the world of crypto safer for all of us.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
I think we also will post in the comments some links to resources to learn about crypto. That's very important. Also the link to your website where the people also can find information. And that was really fantastic, Albert. Thanks a lot and see you soon.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.